Let's discuss. Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another video, and today I will be checking out the album Director's Cuts by To The Grave. I have loved all three of the singles. I know they just put out one more track off the record yesterday. At the time I'm filming this, it's release day. They just released another track yesterday, but I've saved it for this video since it was so close to it. I'm going to check out all of the other tracks. Red Dot Sight has been my favorite single, but all of them have just been killer. I really like the more melodic sound that's being brought to the heaviness. So highly anticipated for me. I reckon this should do really well on my list for the year if the singles are any indication of what's to come. I will link all of To The Grave's social media, any sort of physical copies or merch you can get for the album, all of that stuff in the description of this video. Other than that, I'm going to stop talking and we are going to get straight into it. Alright, here we go. Got that panning. Something about being able to hear that. That breath in before the drop was what I was gonna say. They were not messing around with that intro track. With that runtime, you're like not sure. It could be a build-up. Yeah, this was my jam of the singles. This chorus was one of my favorites of all of last year. I have this video on the channel too, so we won't run through the whole thing, but just chaos, but then so melodic for them as well in that chorus and pre-chorus. This is just so good. This is the bar for me for sure. I really like Cut Off the Head as well though, so this goes into full sequence, I'm pretty sure. was premature on that. Oh! Oh! That would have been doing things to me.
What the fuck did you think? Paranoid about parasites! The weak!
Yes, bring it back that way. Yeah, that's going into the RIP playlist.
Give your destinies and run for the hills.
Oh, that atmosphere snare hit. Kick, dude. Oh. We're not done. Oh, it's doing so good. Ooh.
Should be.
Well, that one may be above Red Dot Sight for me after just one listen. Full sequence. Alright, B.D.T.S.
Before it kills us now, got the belly of the beast, let the gods fall down. Still cuts with our mouths, and now we spawn and set fire to the slaughterhouse. Before it burns us out, the sound of the screams behind the walls. Flesh cut by the pound, gasoline into some matches to ash in the ground. Never wait, instead of wait, make myself scared, don't take it to the past. Let the flames intimidate, give it by the spirit case we find by myself on this.
Oh, slow. Oh, that's me.
What's my fucking back? Through the wires out from the floodlight, lift the sunlight.
Starting off really strong. Full Sequence, definitely my track so far, but a lot of low and slow with that one, which I'm here for as well. Protest and Sever, featuring Sam Crocker. The drumming is outstanding on this record so far. Oh. Oh! Yeah.
Get away with murder! Riot from my hand for peace! Sometimes my hands will change! Somebody the ass that freeze! For the days they said they will pray!
Oh, those snare hits.
Riot from my hand for
Just what I need them to be. Yeah. Oh, I'm feeling it. So much atmosphere.
Races for rapists, burn out the bigots, liars, pulling their weapons of fleshy part of the
I was wanting more of like that melodicness, like, or the more like melodic pieces of it to come through, but keep like that edge of the aggression. It's done. Oh. Chaos and melody. Oh. This one's gonna be the one with that chorus, isn't it? I feel it. Getting creative with them drops. Reverb in that snare. Come on. This album is blowing my expectations. Like, surpassing them. Doing things. Wow, we're already halfway through it too. Okay, so this is the new music video. Found footage. Director's cuts. Whew. Okay. They drive a message for sure, if y'all have seen other videos of theirs around this topic. I already know.
Alarm hits like a truck. Went to bed at 2 and barely kept my eyes shut. Racks getting ready, guess I better get up. Repeat to myself what needs to be done. We also left footage, enough is enough. We're here for one thing and she's leaving with us. Trevor's already waiting, so I grab what I can. Double check, I got the mask, the gloves, the cutters, the lamp. Listen up, in and out, do you understand? Split to separate cars, you take the van and we'll take the sedan. Months in the making, we all know the plan. Wait for security to do the final scan. Pull up to the spot, alright, we'll meet you on the other side. Check, we're all in frequency and split up at the sun and barbed wire. This is only cut and climb, remember last time? Walk forwards feeling like boss with the snakes and the spiders. It could have almost been peaceful out here, but it's eerily quiet. I know that I shouldn't get used to the sight. You can smell the sheds long before you ever see them. The word to Christians run, that's probably all I agree on.
Maps and blueprints, my side of the dark and watching for any signs of movement. Lights burning for fist to cover everything in my foot. Back to the backlog, never get this coming in. I guess I'm watching like the laptops. We left it up in the webs, past the graves to the corner we left it. I'm checking it hasn't been tampered with, please not again. Because of them all, no matter how hard that we try, we grab what we can. And damn straight we'll get her out of this shit alive.
Was that a gunshot like a chicken?
Come see you and make a you say something. They're not responding, what the fuck did I die? Yes, in the place you all say it, I'll bring the guys and rip behind you, just get away. The soul of the world sleep for the day, so it couldn't be them giving my other guys. Wait, there is a car in the driveway. Then I say us, say low, give a fire, you'll see me.
Wow.
Make a beep, control you in 3 years. Eyes of us, I am a boss from Sam to the glass, what I am about. Never to the door, never go around, tell her I'm a caller. Shit, was I at? Am I dead? City mess, I'm alright, I'm thinking crazy. Oh my god, I can't be saved that. Never lose, from the zone, from the doors. Fucking rolling cold, I'm feeling legs. Vision getting blurry, pulling most of it. Fucking study, here he comes. I'm down, see the wind, fresh, and behind the mind. Fresh, I'm rolling glass, as a sad way to a sound. Will I front, where they go, is a blood. I just down, as a wall, with my clothes, to the world, for the living down, feeling something up, what's it all about?
Oh.
Police are on the way, meet us at the gate. By the car about 30 yards away. One of us is here, I'm sure I'll be okay.
Holy shit. Wow. I'm glad I didn't do that music video on its own. Ooh, and this goes into acts of kindness, which I'm very familiar with. I was like all hype on the musical aspects of it, that I was like so holding my breath on that music video. music video still makes me nauseous.
If it's the one they want,
Driving their message.
we'll give them one.
So far, I'm very happy with how this record is playing out, especially based on my expectations. I was hoping there were certain directions. I'll wait till the end. Is that it though? Oh, I was kind of expecting that to build back up. Oh. Take it back. Oh, I like those vocals. Like the layered vocals there. And I thought it wasn't building back up. Oh. Oh. Oh wow. And then it goes into Cut Off the Head, which this I have on the channel as well. And then one more track. Definitely my favorite, second favorite single after Red Dot. they do so good at like some of the effects they use in the videos, just making it so seamless in the actual track. That
just make it rip out the page, rip out the page.
The last track's a long one too, I believe. Like 8.5 or something like that. 8.5 minutes, I think. Die, rise. Yeah, 8.5 exactly. Die, rise. Sounding softer, but probably brings in that heavy. Oh, I do like that.
Show
Oh. Guitar work is just stellar on this record. Bit varied. Got the ocean of kicks. Oh. Going out in style. Yeah. To the Grave, director's cuts. Let's discuss. This for me beats Epilogue by a mile. I think that while there were a lot of standout tracks on that record, Miserable Summer will always be one that I point out because that is still a track I revisit often. It's just such a big song to me. But I think that being something that came out prior to the full release, my bar was set, or maybe my expectations were just a bit different, and it's a lot of music to go through as well, and I just didn't feel like as a full release it stood out to me as much as this surely does and will, I think. I'm not sure, of course, after one listen where it will end up playing out on my list, but it's certainly something to consider for the list, and that will be on there for a good minute at least, if not through the end of the year. Starting out with Warning Shot, I wasn't sure, in like the first 10 to 15 seconds, kind of wondering like, oh, maybe it'll be like more of, you know, an opener that utilizes most of the time to create a build. Nope. I think like as I was thinking that, you sort of hear one of the pan guitars and it's like, never mind, I take it back, and then it just goes straight in, heavy track through and through. Going into my favorite track in terms of singles, Red Dot Sight. Of course, I don't have any complaints about that. That sets the tone, I think, well for the beginning, like the first half of the record, because a full sequence would surely be a standout track to me. That's going to be one of my favorites. Just as soon as that riff starts, and they bring it back too. It's the main riff on the song. It's phenomenal. So it has aspects like that, but at the same time, as I feel the guitar work was standout on this album, so was the drumming. So the vocal work from Dane was absolutely noteworthy as well. There's a lot of variety here. There was one point, I can't remember which track it was after just one listen, but there's screams, but then underneath it's sort of like this spoken word, spoken word is definitely the wrong, it's spoken, but it's like this, you know, kind of haunting, eerie, like anxiety inducing sort of layered vocal on under it. It was just a very good choice, I think. It's not something I hear very often, but anyway, full sequence, B.D.T.S, what was it? Protest and Sever was good, but I think I prefer Manhunt over it. So it would be like full sequence, B.D.T.S for me, Manhunt, and then Protest and Sever for the beginning of the record. But I think the whole entire, like the first 5 tracks are just stellar. You can hear in full sequence as that one starts up, not as it starts up, but really in like that first drop, like it gives the low and slow drop, which that slowness gives enough space, I think, in the instrumentals to where you can hear like how atmospheric it is. And then that's something that can be pointed out in multiple areas across the record, which going into this was something I was really hoping for, because there's just something about like something obnoxiously heavy that also has that like lightness and sort of, maybe it's eerie atmosphere, maybe it's something that almost sounds like a, not almost, that's something that's like fully contrasts the instrumentals you're hearing. All of that stuff I really enjoy, and I think it was used well throughout this. B.D.T.S is an ass-beating track for sure. That is a one that does not quit the whole time, which I really enjoy. I think for my taste, what I've talked about with Red Dot Sight being my favorite, because at the same time as it has like some of those huge drops, and especially the bass drops in this, there were a few of them. And Going Out, Die, Rise was a good mixture, I think, of the highest points of the record for me. So while it starts out with like that feeling where it's like, okay, this definitely has like a little bit more of a softer feel to it, it doesn't last too long before it brings in the heaviness and kind of mixes those together, which that does great things for me. The video on found footage was also a very noteworthy part of it for me. I think that anyone who listens through the record and listens through that, like, to that song, should watch the video as well, because they did an excellent job at. I need to listen to the song really on its own, because it just fits that video so well. Like, there's one part, I think the lyrics are like, "Fuck, did they hear us?" or something like that, and it just matches up with the video perfectly. And I was like holding my breath throughout the whole video. I had to like pull myself away from focusing that to try to like take in some of what was going on with the actual song rather than the video. But I think that's an important part to see, like, the video with that song. At least for me it would be. But anyway, back to what was it? The end of full sequence has, so that one's pretty relentless as well. It goes up until that like paranoid, well, you fucking should be, and like right before that it has the little bassy bit going. And then also the end of, I think it was Manhunt, has like, is super groovy. So there's variety there. I don't think this is at all predictable in any way, because each track, though it's very cohesive, it flows very well. Like I mentioned, there's certain vocal flow that really brings together some of the style to make it feel like, you know, the same release, while each of them also take different directions and kind of give something a bit different. It's not very, like, it doesn't stick to one formula, I guess I should say. So yeah, second half of the record, I don't think it really lets up in quality, especially having cut off the head down there. Acts of Kindness. The singles are very well placed in this album. Cut Off the Head is another track that really stuck with me in terms of the singles. They really all did, but I could just hear that, like, cut off the head part. It's something that sticks with you, and I think they did a really solid job at taking the best parts of these singles, expanding on them, introducing more than that. But it is an ass-beater record, beginning to end. I think that when it comes to, like, reversing the bear trap, that one's another one that just, it hits, and then it's well fit to the features. There are 2 features on the album, Protest and Sever, and that track, Reversing the Bear Trap. And I do think that they both the tracks open up really well to the feature, while the features they chose fit well to the sound they already have going, if that makes sense. It's not like an off-the-wall feature or anything like that. A lot of what stood out to me with the drumming is something that I'll be going back through, listening for. A lot of those, like, super fast-paced, chaotic, like, adding to that chaos sort of like feeling with a lot of the fills, blast beats, but at the same time being able to open up with those, you know, the parts I'm talking about where it's like a low and slow breakdown or whatever the case may be, some big ol' snare hit in there. That sort of stuff I just love. I think it was very consistent in the drumming. There was never a song where it didn't stick out to me, and that was the case for, there were standout moments for each part of the band. Bass, I had mentioned a few times, just coming through so well. Guitar work on this is absolutely, for me, I think that Full Sequence is going to be like that bar for me. Some of that bendy stuff is just exactly what I'm looking for. A riff like that is really, like, suited for my taste. And then Die Rise at the end of the album, I think that's how do I want to word it? Like, having that long of a track at the end is definitely something that's necessary for an album that doesn't follow a formula. Like I was just mentioning before, that this isn't very, like, that's not what this record is. So I think it does a good job kind of giving a nod to all of the pillars of this. Also, the message that the band carries. They have a very obvious message, if you didn't gather that from found footage, or really a lot of the music videos they've done, a lot of their lyrics. Lyrically, from what I heard of this, it sticks to a theme here. Obviously, you see the cover of the album, and it kind of makes sense. And there was, like, which track was it? I don't remember which track it was that was like, if I were king for a day, I'd let, like, something about, like, basically saying that the way that animals that are mistreated, used for like food and things like that, they would swap the humans in place and that we'd be better off. That sort of thing is very heavily, that's like the theme for To the Grave. A lot of their music, maybe all of it, I'm not sure. If I can't speak a lot to, like, I didn't read through the lyrics of every single track on Epilogue or anything like that, but I can tell you that it's not something brand new for them or anything. So I think they did a great job driving their message, creating something that will really, like, people will want to listen to, and I think the delivery on it may be something that makes people consider they've just done a good job without being, like, I don't know, straying from their sound with their, like, it's just very connected, I think, and they did a good job, is what I'm trying to say here. So I think that pretty much covers it. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, what I wanted from this record was to see expansion on, like, the more melodic bits, like the chorus of Red Dot Sight, to hear more of those, like, sharp hitting, like, cut off the head, that part that I mentioned before, like, that just sticks with me, like the punch. Sometimes get it, like, that big snare hit is not like you know, it's not a necessity, but it's something that I love in their sound. And then like having those more open bits, and this really leaned it more into like the atmospheric sort of breakdowns and parts of the record than I had expected, and that's something I love, so that kind of bumped it up for me even more. Yeah, I'm just extremely happy with this. I will need to re-listen to found footage a bit more because, like I mentioned, I was so distracted by the music video that I didn't get to fully take in the song, I don't think. So if I kind of didn't touch on that one so much, that would be why, because I needed to do a little bit more listening. But a lot of deep grooves here, a lot of leaning into that melodic sound that I had hoped for, and a lot of really aggressive drops. Some for the breakdown playlist, some for the riff playlist. There was one chorus that stuck out to me the most as well. And now I can't remember which track it was. So I'll be re-listening to this record immediately after filming this anyhow, so I'm sure I'll figure that out. But those are my thoughts after first listen. There's nothing that I would want differently, especially coming from Epilogue into director's cuts. This is what I would want for this band, definitely on the path that, for my taste, that I would want them to be. So this will be a record that gets a ton of plays from me. I'll be interested to see when I do my like halfway through the year video and kind of talk about my favorite releases to see where this is, because it's looking rather promising for me. So let me know what you thought in the comments, what your favorite tracks are. I do think mine would be full sequence, Manhunt. I really did like Die Rise, and of course Red Dot Sight stays up there, and probably Cut Off Band too. So a lot of them, and that's even just after one listen, so we'll see. I'll need to listen through some more. Those are at least, I think, that stick out. Anyway, all of To The Grave social media, any sort of physical copies of the record, merch that you can get, I will link in the description, as well as all of their support links, that good stuff. Other than that, you can also find my Linktree, which will have the Patreon link. We do monthly live streams. I make playlists for people in Tier 3. I'm starting up a series that will go up there every month about like video games, because that's what the Patreon community wanted. I had some music-related options too, but stuff like that, just kind of gauging what people want and trying to do that. And then as well, we'll be doing more live, like regular non-Patreon live streams on the channel as well. So you can also find the Discord server invite link. I had to think about that for a second. The Discord server is where the community for my YouTube channel is based. We've got a lot of really lovely people in there. Music-related conversation unrelated to music. Just a bunch of music lovers in our community. So if you're interested in joining, checking that out, that will be there. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.